remember to smile, Connie.
Okay.
All right.
I'm smiling right now.
Golf Deck Live, thanks for joining us. We're going to take a look at a few swings, and some of these are a little bit different than usual, so we'll get to talk about some new topics. But let's take a look at this one. So who is this? What's his name? Do you remember?
We'll just call him Mr. Gilmore.
Mr. Gilmore, okay. That is his last name, right? Is Gilmore?
I think so.
No? Okay, I think so. All right, so first, the sandals. That's an interesting choice. Long rough to hit a driver. It's a bold move there. But let's go ahead and look at the backswing. So we'll just stop at the top of the swing. I don't think we know much about Mr. Gilmore's problems, so let's just take a look at some general improvements that probably could happen. So first, the top of the swing. This is pretty typical of people who need to hit the ball farther. You can make just the whole stroke so much more powerful by understanding a couple things. So Connie's outlined where the lead knee was of rock star player, longest hitter on the tour, Rory McIlroy, and you can see how his knee has moved downward and inward. Can you trace that line on there? And then looking at Happy's knee over here, or the Gilmore, we've got his knee is translating almost just straight inward, and that's the start of his hips actually moving to the right. When your hips slide this much to the right, or you start to sway off the ball, it's more challenging to keep your lead arm straight and to raise it very high in the air, so you start to bend it too. So step one in this process of making this look like a PGA Tour backswing is to move your knee more downward and less inward. And then we'll talk a touch about how to keep your arms straighter, because you can see in Rory, when you just look at him from the waist up here, how much his back is stretched out and extended. You can see a lot of his trail shoulder in that picture. He's doing something very different with his thoracic spine that way. Should we, that was too long. You drew too much.
Sorry.
All right. Well, that's all right. Well, let's just demonstrate how to do it.
Sure.
So there's your driver. Go ahead and hit towards me over here. Okay, perfect. Set up to this one, and then the lead knee. So you saw in Gilmore's swing, go ahead and do his, where I'll mark where your knee was, and you can see more of that inward translation than downward. Now let's do it in what we like to call the right way. Go ahead and start over.
Okay.
Nothing? Not even a little smile? Yeah, there's a smile there. Okay, so now our lead knee's moved at about 45 degrees relative to where I've got this stick. That would be a good start. That keeps your hips from moving too far away from the ball. Then the next part, which we have talked about a ton, is worth mentioning of just how mobile you really need to keep your shoulders. They need to retract. So where you can feel your clavicles, yeah, some bending backward. Go ahead and you can stop. That's good, a good demo. Okay. So there's beyond just the extending of your back, you also want to take your shoulders and your clavicles here and pull those back, retracting at your shoulders. So it's both of those together are what make you more mobile up in your thoracic spine. So it's not just extending, but keeping your shoulders protracted is both. Good? Okay. So that's a good start there. And then let's go down, or let's go into the follow through and then demonstrate that one too, just from this view. So one reason that Rory hits it so far as well, on the downswing, he bends his knees a lot. He's getting ready to push up off the ground. Then he straightens his legs really fast to the point where you can go to 8 here. How straight both of his legs are. He's really trying to propel himself up off the ground, almost like he's just going to do a jump as high as he can. Meanwhile, Mr. Gilmore here, and might be limited by his sandals or golf selections. That one, you can see the flex in the lead knee and the trail knee, and neither one of them look like he's really popping up off the ground enough, trying to swing harder and faster. So I think most of those are distance tips and probably would be very helpful for hitting a ball off the ground. This one didn't go very far.
Probably not.
That? Yeah, went nowhere. Anyway, should we do the next one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And let's do Tim next.
All right, so this one is a good one too. So this Tim here hits the ball really nicely. I looked at his swing for about 4 seconds. It was really good, but he also overdraws. So the ball's pushed to the right, curved too much, and now we got to try to iron that one out. Harris English from the side. Yeah, it was a good one. And then just go to, you can go up to 4. So first, if the balls are curving too much, you could start right up here at the top. So can you circle his club face, because that'll be hard to see on this video. Extremely close. So whether you choose to extend your wrist or just take your lead hand and not turn it so far to the right, both of those would help open the face up more here. This doesn't mean you're going to hit a big nasty hook, but it is a good place to start if you just keep hitting a lot of hooks. So there's a good reason to turn your hand less. But the one I wanted to get was like 5.5, so that'll be a little tougher to line up. But you actually had it. Go back a couple more frames. Right there. Down one. That's fine. That'll work. And then whatever you can do with Harris. So on the downswing, Tim is battling a little bit of the backward bending too soon. Early extension is sometimes what people call that. But if you start drawing a line through the shoulders and even the angle of his pelvis, you'll notice that he's less turned, but he's also more backward bent. And his shoulders are more level. They're not tilted as much to the left. It's the leftward tilt on the downswing that helps you. Like if I stayed tilted to the left, everyone is at the top of the swing. No one's tilted to the right. That's why that's part of a basics class that we've created for our app here that you'll see soon. But when you're tilted to the left at the top of the swing, if I stayed tilted to the left, no matter what I did, it would be really challenging for me not to hit down on the ball much more than a tour average angle of attack. And it would be really hard as I straighten my right arm not to have a swing direction that's across the ball a ton. Make sense? So when you start to see someone like Tim begin to tilt to the right a little soon, bend backward too soon, that's the start of your path getting too far to the right. So one feel that you could have that we'll demonstrate over here, that's good enough to tell that story. As Kevin switches views here, would be the feeling of your lead shoulder just staying super low on the downswing, where it just moves more forward or downward even from the top of the swing and never ever starts to rise up.
Yep.
That'll keep you in that forward bend longer. It'll give the chance for the swing direction to stay a little straighter longer. The way I would hit that could be a couple ways, Tim. You could take out an old driver, because I would expect in the beginning that you start hitting the top of the club up here near the crown, because your angle of attack could be more downward. I'd practice just slow at first and start using that side view of your swing. Use your Golf Tech app to film this one, and you should see a difference between the angle of the shaft being higher on the downswing as opposed to where you start to lower it in too soon. So the way I'd practice would be the feeling of lead shoulder stays down. You might expect to hit those balls extremely low, and I hit that one where it carried 73 yards, and I'd take a look at that swing and see how that looked relative to, say, this one. Shouldn't take you too long to get that feel. It's a really hard one because it is, I'll let you demonstrate this one.
Sure.
Just to that camera still. So go up to 4, up to the top, and then Connie feels like her shoulder just stays down and low. Don't let that come up at all. I know it feels really weird, right? That's Sergio Garcia, how he hits a driver and did for a long time. Whereas Matt's shoulder at this point in time is going to be more right tilted and more backward. And that shaft just gets more and more in that way. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I would say, think about Alex Noren, where his practice is going low and that
That's
way.
a good one. That's a good one. Yep, I've seen that swing many times. All right, what do we got next after that one? You're doing a pretty good job so far. And we remembered a club this time.
Yeah, that's great. We can use Matt, Aussie Matt here.
Ooh, I like this one too. So you recently played with Aussie Matt, right?
Correct,
This is your footage?
Yes.
Okay,
He was my best 14 handicapper ever.
Best one?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so first, can you draw, because you weren't standing in any spot that this camera view is going to be super useful for?
I was a terrible cameraman.
That's all right. Just draw where you think the target is out there.
Yeah,
is it to the right of the trees?
Yes, we're basically going for that.
Okay.
There.
But Aussie Matt's problems are very typical. He just plays a lot of golf. He's very good at refining his pattern. He knows what's going to happen. But where do these go?
Push slices most of the time.
Can he draw anything?
Sorry?
Can he draw any swing, any club?
I have not seen a single draw.
We'll
He's
answer
trying
that
very hard.
He cannot. But he has a SkyTrack Plus, right?
Yes.
Just like this?
Exactly like that.
So this will be fun because it sounds like he also he probably can't get an in-to-out path number. And that face-to-path number is probably
very high.
Always
very
open.
High, yeah.
Like how much would these things curve?
Based on the shots I was seeing, probably around 8 to 10 degrees open with the face.
Yeah, so there's
easily,
like 30, 40 yard cut shots. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look at his swing, and you can do anything you want here because the camera angle is different, but there's very easy checkpoints. You don't go to 4. Let's start with that. And you could comp this one against Harris here. That's fine. So he might draw a circle around the club face. Even Harris English, who's deemed to have one of the more upright swings, is still got his lead arm and his trail elbow lower to the ground than Aussie Matt here does. But the angle of the face tells you a lot about how his grip isn't turned nearly enough to the right. I can imagine you walked up and you saw his lead hand turned to the left of even the 0 line on the shaft.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like laughing at a guy like that because I'm sure you had a good time at this Skytrack event with him, but yeah, that one's easy to spot on the range. Then I don't know what we can see on the downswing, but let's take a look. I think you could see the 5 okay.
Yes.
All
The
right, so
5,
good.
you can, the
Okay.
angle is off, but you can definitely
Sure.
see that he is very out at that point with
So
his.
I'll use Aussie Matt's grip that you shouldn't be using at home if you slice, and his arm is too far out. So now you get the face open, your lead arm out. That's programming your swing direction to be too far to the left. He's in a world of trouble. A lot of people who don't slice from here, like you don't have to, but it's challenging. You've got to lower the shaft, start to supinate your lead arm, and hope you close the face enough. It's pretty challenging. That's why you need the shaft more in and the face more closed at this point in time in the swing, so you don't need to do all that work. It's kind of programmed in.
Exactly.
Sound good? Okay,
Yeah.
what else is, keep going a little bit more.
Right there.
Okay,
You can see that
Shaft's
face
too
is
far out.
extremely open.
Yeah. Lead wrist is a little more extended.
You can't quite get it exactly at
He
that
does
point.
the same thing every time, so I could see him being good. Can you keep going on this one? Curious to see what the, oh yeah, that picture right there is pretty telling. So Aussie Matt, no one who draws balls looks like this at this point in time in the swing. The face angle is just way too open for you to try to have it close to the path here. You need it more close to the path. Now, in reality, everyone has the face open to the path at this point in time. Yours is just more open than pretty much anyone. So let's draw. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the first thing I would do, Aussie Matt, done that one about 1,000,000 times, right? Would be to set him up at address with the swing direction aimed to the right and the face angle severely close to the path. So one way to do that would be to start to change your knee flex early. So now you've got your hips closed to the target or to the right. Same thing with your shoulders, aim those to the right. So it looks like I've programmed my swing over like towards that mouse cursor over there. And I'm trying to do that without aiming my feet to the right. The whole point is to move yourself around. Okay, next, twist your lead arm so that you have your elbow facing the target. So not this way, which is how Matt probably grabs it, where his elbow is really pointed at his lead hip. Okay, to do that, you need to turn your hand on the club. And then your trail arm, you take the inside part of your elbow, twist it enough so that it is aimed straight ahead. So I'm trying to aim the inside of my elbow right at where Connie's standing. I am set up to hit a massive push draw this way. Then I'm going to practice on the backswing, moving the club head in, closing the face, and just trying to punch these balls out down the fairway. So this will look a little bit different than how Aussie Matt's shots curve, and we'll take a look at the path in the face to see how much in to out I get this and how much the face is close to the path. I practice just hitting that shot, Matt. When you can hit 10, 20, 30 of those in a row, you should be able to grab this club and just hit it. So there's a club path of 8 to the right. The face to path was 4.2 closed to that. So it's still open to the target about 4 degrees. And that's why that ball pushed. It drew a ton. I hit it on the toe. So there's even more gearing effect in there that curves. That one went 186 yards, which is, I'm sure Matt didn't hit it super short, but 200-yard kind of drivers is usually what I see out of people who have that sort of alignment at that point in time when they're ready to hit this ball. And you would just keep doing this over and over and over. So that'd be 1 in a row. To show you, that, Matt, that this can be done more than that. Setting up, aiming the face straight, close your hips and shoulders, turn both elbows, close the face on the way back, and just punch the ball down the fairway. A little more on the toe, tried to swing a little faster. Still got the curve right. You're really not practicing how to hit the fairway or how to smash these into spots you would absolutely want them. My club path is 3.6 into out. My face to path is seriously close to the target. Hit a little on the toe again, pushes and draws too much. You practice having a club path that's at least 4 to the right. The face angle somewhat closed to the path, and just get really good at it just by almost working on the setup alone. What do you think?
Perfect.
You spent time with him. Can he do that?
Yeah, I mean, he's got the determination.
Okay.
He's a machine. He hits like 400 golf balls.
I know. He just hits 400 balls the same way. Needs to be different.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. What do we have here?
We have Dawn here.
Dawn. All right. So, do you know anything about Dawn's game?
She did not say anything
Okay.
in the submission. So
right,
we're
well,
just gonna
you take care of this one. What do you think about the ball position with the driver?
definitely a lot more forward. This is where'd you hit an iron from?
Yes.
8 iron, 7 iron.
Yes,
max.
move that thing up. It's
Yep.
hard to do the side bend right when you hit this ball if you have the ball that far back. You need
Exactly.
a ton of hip sway on the downswing, and this is a very challenging way to do it. I don't
So-
really remember her swing, so let's take a look.
So we'd want the ball position somewhere where this red line is.
Pretty
A
close.
lot more forward.
I'd put
than
it
where
like
is.
you can draw a circle around her shoulder and then maybe a line straight down from there. That's about where I'd put this ball for most people, which is pretty close to your line. That's the center of your swing. That's where placing the ball relative to that is really good. So somewhere around there. Real easy way to do it is try to use your front foot, but know that the best geometrical spot to put that if you want to make sure you do this close to how tour players would do it, be up that far.
Right. So we go to the top of the backswing.
Okay.
Right here, you can
Not
see.
bad.
Yeah, it's actually not a bad swing, but she
No.
can definitely get a lot more distance if she had
Yep.
bent backwards more.
And I wonder how much of that, Connie, comes from, like, you can see the difference
position.
between where Rory's got the ball and where she does. I
For
would
sure.
try to make sure I was swaying further away from the target if I had the ball that far back.
Exactly. All right, and then let's have a look at the downswing.
Here comes the no hip sway downswing. Yep. Okay. So tour players
there.
from the top of the swing down to impact move their hips towards the target 5, 6, 7 inches sometimes. She probably moved them forward about 0. Same thing. Ball's back. It's not really
She can't really move
helpful
forward
to do
anyways.
that very much.
Yeah.
She's still going to have an angle of attack problem. Okay, so here you can notice how Rory's hips have moved quite a bit towards the target. He's got some more side bend in there. His lead arm's really straight. Can't really do that with the ball that far back again. Okay, and then let's keep going into the follow through, and the lack of hip sway has made the side bend really low.
Yep, and
So
the arms
she's-
bend because of that.
And she's grinding her foot in the ground right there. I'm sure there's either some foot pain in there, or you can definitely tell after you hit it how your toe has made a mark into the grass.
Exactly.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So that should be a pretty easy fix.
All right.
Pretty quick fix, and
You do your thing here.
all right.
I'm just going to watch. You tell her what to do. I'll get the tees.
Thank you. All right, let's maybe start from this angle then.
Well, hey, it's your call. You just do whatever. I'm just here.
All right, so let's first start off with the ball position. Get the ball position correct.
Very
like
bossy
Nick had
today,
said.
by the way.
I'm sorry.
No, that's right.
You're probably not used to that, right?
Nope. I get told what to do all the time, Connie. Don't worry about it. So we said put the ball position just about where the center of the swing is, which is her arm, her shoulder right there. And then you can see how the ball is slightly behind that if I just keep going down. Good placement. A lot of people talk about as a proxy, use the inside of your foot this way, and that's fine too. But now you can see there's a little discrepancy in there. The ball's further back than just playing it right where her lead ankle is that way. Okay?
Yep. All right, and then from here, you should feel like you don't need to actually bend or stay in flexion that much in the backswing.
Yeah.
You can start now learning to bend more backwards, getting that backswing longer and the lead arm to stay straighter.
Good
Because you're not
advice. Yep.
flex forward.
Mhm.
Then here, start that downswing, feeling like the hips are pushing forward through and getting the arm straight.
Yep, that'd be a good way to practice, right?
Yeah.
Your hips all the way over your left foot, your arms really straight. And you don't have to hit those real hard to get the feeling of it, but no
yeah,
hip
just chipping
sway.
him down the range.
Yeah, show the no hip sway, elbow flexed impact. This is where you're kind of left to hit this shot. And you need to bend your arm so that you don't hit down too much with the ball that far back. So this is a really tough way to hit your driver. It's not how it's built. It's built so that you're actually tilted to the right quite a bit with the ball further up, and then you have a reason to keep your arm straight. Okay. You think, did we get them all?
I think so, yeah. Do
right.
we have any questions, Brad?
Ooh, I'm glad you asked. I wasn't going to ask him. Forgot about that. Okay, what do we got?
First one. How to tilt more at impact.
Okay.
Casey wants to know, how do I tilt more at impact without blocking it always to the right?
Ooh, all right, good advice. You want to talk about that?
No, you go ahead.
Okay.
I'm just here
That's
to
right.
demonstrate.
Okay, so here, I'll trade you. You hold that. I'll hold this one. I'll do the same kind of demo, but right in the middle of
Let
the
me
frame
stand
here.
there.
So the tilting to the right is good, but if it's not accompanied by the club face angle being closed enough to the target, doesn't need to be close to the target, but closed enough, you can still hit these big pushes. A lot of people that I teach at first how to push their hips forward and how to have a side bend almost preset at address and hit the ball that way. They also tend to lose the feel of how you're going to twist your hand through the shot or through the shot too. So it's easy to hit with the face angle open too many degrees coming through the ball, and then you've got an even worse shot. That's why there's more parts to it. But you definitely need to learn the side bend, obviously, to hit a driver really well to get it to launch up in the air. So a simple way to do that is do the side bending just like you have. I'm assuming, Casey, you have that right. But coming through the ball, you're going to hit a shot where you point the toe of the club up like you see here. So I've got the side bend that you'd be practicing. I haven't let my wrists bend, which is effectively making the path of my club start to bend to the left when I hit it. Just trying to keep the shaft stretched out and twist the face enough so it's just pointed up at the sky, the toe of the club that way. That will help you ensure that when you hit this ball, you don't have the face angle open 20 degrees to the target, because you wouldn't be as likely to have the toe of the club pointed up. So if you did hit that shot, it'd look something like this. Side bend, toe of the club pointing up, big time curve on that one. I mean, that's a good way to practice making sure the face is closed enough to the target. Okay, more?
One more.
One more.
Sean says, I've never heard ball position explained that way. How would you do that for irons and wedges? How would I practice?
Sure. So Sean said that he hasn't heard the ball position explained that way. Sean, you got to watch some of these videos. That's usually how I talk about it, unless we're trying to go super fast. So same thing with an iron. Now with a driver, you want an angle of attack that's almost zero, so you put it right underneath the center of the swing, or maybe just slightly back even from that, because that keeps your swing path from getting too far to the left. The further up I move this ball, it's not so much, it's affecting my angle of attack once I hit the low point of my swing where my arm and the shaft are in a straight line. But then my path starts to bend back to the left. So that's where playing the ball slightly behind, one ball behind the center of your swing, helps you swing ever so slightly in and out. Okay. Now with an iron, you don't need to have an angle of attack that's almost zero like you do with a driver. And that's where the ball goes back further. So I might put the ball 3 balls back, 1, 2, 3 from my shoulder. And now I've got plenty of reason. If my swing direction is very straight, I will hit in to out a few degrees and still have an angle of attack that's more down, say 5, 6 with a wedge, trying to hit it that way. So you're moving the ball around, it influences the swing path and also the angle of attack. So depending on what you want to do with that club, that's how you determine where to put the ball. Good? Oh, that's it, Connie.
Awesome. That was quick.
I think that was your best one.
Thank you.
At top 5, how many have we done?
Have
Like
we done like
7?
6?
Okay, it's in the top 8. Best you've done.
Trust you to not do math.
Huh? That
Never
was a
mind.
compliment. Top 8 is really good.
8 out of 8.
Sure.
Great.
Well, now what do we do?
Do you still remember the
No.
email that we have to send everything to?
Nope.
All right. Please submit your swing so that we can come back next week and fix all your problems for you. It's youtube@golftech.com.
YouTube@golftech.com.
Yeah. You're going to remember that for next time?
YouTube@golftech.com. I'll write that down.
Okay. We have a
I
big
won't-
sign there for you.
I won't
since you
write
can't
that
read
down, but I'm going to
anything
try.
small.
I want to write it down.
Okay.
All right. YouTube@golftech.com. I think I'm here every day next week. Tuesday,
Awesome.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Whenever
We'll do
you're
it
available.
one of those days, whenever Brad tells me what to do. Okay. Well, thanks for watching. Anything else you want to say?
Nothing.
Top 8.
Yep,
That was
top
good.
8.
Top 8.